Democrats and radicals alike, the spectre of fascism was terrifying, and they knew that a final terrible showdown with the extreme right was inevitable. Catholic Spain, dominated for years by dictatorships and backward-looking monarchs, was about to be thrown violently into the modern age.
It seems almost incredible that those folks that cried, "Viva el Rey," should soon be yelling, "Down with the monarchy, death to the king, death to the queen, viva la republic."
In 1931, the old monarchy had been overthrown and the new republic declared.
Madrid, Barcelona, every town and hamlet filled the streets in one vast, delirious demonstration of delight to mark the birth of the Republic and their newly won liberties.
But change was not quick enough or widespread enough for everyone. At the beginning of the 1930s, in Barcelona and everywhere else, women were paid half the meager wages of men, less than 2 pesetas a day, often for precisely the same work. Arranged marriages were common, and unmarried women in a country heavily dominated by the church had to be accompanied by chaperones. But under the surface of everyday life, a new movement was taking shape in revolutionary bars and street corners. Soon events would change Spain more radically than anyone had anticipated. It wasn't Barcelona though, but Oviedo, the capital of the mining province of Asturias, where the next crucial event was about to take place, as miners fought with government forces for control of the town. News from Oviedo spread like wildfire. Radical thinkers like Ethel MacDonald, now 27 years old with 8 years of anarchist activism behind her, quickly picked up on the importance of what was happening in Spain.
In northern Spain, the miners had been united by the Workers' Alliance for over a year. With socialists, anarchists and communists participating, they determined resolutely to end the system of exploitation and armed themselves. In October 1934, a general strike was called. They came in thousands, attacked and overwhelmed Spanish government forces. The workers' flag flew over Oviedo and the town became a workers' commune.
The right wing, Spain's royalist traditional Catholics and conservatives, realized too where the Asturian rebellion might lead and didn't hesitate to brutally put it down. The miners' strike was crushed, but the flame of revolution had been lit.
Spain is in the grip of an election. All parties have made their appeal to the people, and Barcelona has good reason to be satisfied with the result, a clear victory for the parties of the left.
Things begin to accelerate in February of 1936, when a Republican government is elected on the same program it had been elected on 5 years before. But 5 years before, it had failed to fulfill most of its promises to bring about social change. It had promised land reform, and that had got diverted and not been fully implemented. It had promised trade union rights, and those rights had been driven back in the previous couple of years. It had promised secular education and limits on the power of the church. None of this had really been carried through.
But elections in Spain don't blow over after a little mild cheering. Socialists and others, suppressed by the last government, no sooner hear the result than they start letting off steam.
This time, the movement, the working class movement, the anarchist movements, the political movements decided that they wouldn't wait for it all to go through the proper channels, for it to be legislated and carried through legally. Instead, the initiative now was seized from below.
The Spanish Democratic Republic was caught in the middle of two opposing forces. The army and the monarchists were losing patience. Socialists and anarchists gaining confidence. People across Spain began to choose sides. Between the 18th and 20th of July, the Spanish military rebelled against the Republican government. Generals, including Franco, struck at all the major centers simultaneously.
Civil war in all its naked horror inflames the whole of Spain.
Seville and Granada fell. Cities like Oviedo fought back, but were defeated. But in Barcelona and Madrid and elsewhere, the rebel generals were repelled. Hitler and Mussolini supported the rebels with military aid. Britain and France adopted a policy of non-intervention, banning the sale of arms to the Spanish government. So the Republic turned to Stalin's Russia for military assistance.
Madrid enthusiastically hails the arrival of a diplomatic representative from Russia. Mr. Rosenberg is the first ambassador the Soviet government has sent to Spain. There are strong bonds of sympathy between Russia and the Spanish government.
Communists believed in ridding the people of oppressive government, but only after the defeat of capitalism. Before then, there must be a disciplined dictatorship of the people, anathema to anarchists. And for communists, defense of the Russian Revolution was paramount.
The communist salute is used by everybody in Barcelona, and the government, though not communist itself, issues rifles to all who will defend it.
Spain was now divided. About half the country in the right-wing army's control, the rest loyal to the Republic. The people of Barcelona took to the streets and built barricades, knowing full well they'd need to defend their city again.
Days lengthen to weeks, and still the burning, fighting, killing go on in the desperate battle for power.
Radical thinkers and activists the world over were galvanized into action. Spain was the arena for the showdown between left and right.
Help save Spain?
For Ethel, that meant doing what she could locally.
Join the workers in Spain.
Writing, editing and distributing news sheets and calls to action.
Help save Spain? Workers Unite, sir. Join the workers in Spain.
When the Civil War began, there was clearly a determined effort to very rapidly make it an international issue. People went all over Scotland, all over Britain, all over Europe, doing street meetings and so on, to tell people about what was going on in Spain. In almost every major city, there were stalls and tables in shopping centres, collecting money, getting people to sign petitions, and in some cases recruiting people for the international brigades. And there were about 35 to 40,000 people who went from around the world, often under very difficult conditions, to fight in the international brigades.
My father, James, joined the Communist Party in 1932, and he was watching what was happening in Spain with the miners in Asturias in 1933 and the various other events leading up to 1936. He was in the Territorial Army, so he had a rifle. And I think he came in one day, put his rifle down in a corner, never took his rifle with him, which he might have wished he had done, because it probably worked better than anything he ever had when he was in Spain. But he just said, I'm going. He just decided that he was going to go to Spain, that he had a duty to join international brigades and to go and fight for the Republic, against Franco, against the fascists.
Spain's atrocity-spangled civil war burns and butchers into its 9th week. Already it's estimated that 25,000 have been killed, but less than half of those have died on a battlefield. Night after night, all over Spain, men are torn from their weeping families, lined up and shot.
André Prud'homme, leading French anarchist, wrote to Guy Aldred from Barcelona, requesting an English-speaking journalist to inform the world of Catalonia's revolution.
Well, we don't even have the funds for the bus journey out of town.
Well, what an opportunity.
With her writing and propaganda skills, Ethel was an obvious choice. Glasgow anarchists managed to raise funds to send her and her comrade, Jenny Patrick, to London, where sympathisers raised money to get them to Paris.
The initiative for the International Brigades was largely Communist Party. The Communist Party internationally mobilised the International Brigades at a series of meetings around the world.
From Paris, sympathisers' generosity got us to Perpignan. From there, we walked, hitchhiked and nearly starved